This is Joel. Joel did something none of us would really dare to do. He bought a really cheap Italian supercar, sight unseen. This is a 2004 Maserati 4200 GT with almost 100,000 miles on the clock. Is it a bargain appreciating classic that's as nice to drive as you would hope? Or is it an unreliable financial nightmare? How much did you pay for your Maserati?
Well, just £4,000.
£4,000 for a Maserati. What could possibly go wrong?
Quite a lot, actually. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit later on.
We'll have a look round it first. We'll take it for a drive, and then you can probably reveal to us the pitfalls of being a ridiculously cheap Maserati.
Maybe it will reveal itself to you while you're behind the wheel.
If it starts. Yeah. So these new they're about 57, 58 grand up to about 65,
like
67.
Yeah.
Which in today's money is
north
almost
of six figures, I think.
Yeah, around 100 grand, isn't it? A bit more. So an expensive car when it was new, not an expensive car these days.
I love the idea of a car that was once so expensive, so exotic, that can be had for, less than what a Ford Fiesta these days.
Price of nothing. And where were you going to go to buy it, or where did you have to go to get it from?
So a chap that follows me offered it to me, and he was up in Edinburgh.
Okay.
And I thought, well, this is great because it was offered to me at £4,000. I thought that's cheap even for one of these.
Yeah, it is.
It's got a slight issue. So I thought, okay, well, that's an interesting thing to do. I'll book a flight, go up there, pick the car up, drive it home. That'll be a load of drama.
Yeah.
Turns out when I got there, it wasn't a slight issue. It was a pretty significant issue. And well, needless to say, I had to fork out a bunch of money on a flight to get me home.
So you couldn't drive it back?
Couldn't drive it back.
The issue was that bad?
But I'd already committed to buying it.
Nice.
So it was mine. Organised a trailer, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So those dreams of that lovely first drive home back down the country didn't quite pan out.
It didn't quite pan out that way, no.
As is the way with these kind of risks, I suppose. But you know what? This is the first time I've seen it. It's a lovely looking car.
It is. I mean, that's the thing with these, is even if it decides to, blow itself up,
which it might at any moment,
a lovely ornament piece.
Yeah,
you can look out your window, and it is a good looking thing.
It is, yeah.
I think if you ask the average person on the street what this was worth, or how new it was, they probably wouldn't have much of an inkling.
No, way more, wouldn't they?
21 years old.
They look out the window and think, my neighbour is doing very well. Little do they know, it doesn't run.
In fact, my neighbours do think that, and I have to reassure them that actually I'm doing the opposite of that.
Yeah, I buy ones that don't normally work. But yeah, it looks pretty good. So one thing with these models, because these came after the 3200, which was the twin turbo V8 thing, they had the boomerang rear lights, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
So I think these were quite controversial when they were new, because Maserati did away with the boomerangs, which are kind of all the way around here, weren't they?
That's right. People were quite cross when they revealed this.
Yeah.
That they had removed the boomerang lights. I'm not sure of the reasoning why, but
it is a boomerang-free zone, isn't it? Now, I read something. I got a bit Iraqi last night in my research. Someone on some Maserati forum said you can tell if these had a rear-end shunt because this gap here is completely impossible to adjust if the bumper ever comes off. So if that gap's not right, it's bad. But actually, you know what? I reckon it's spot on.
It's not bad, is it?
So your Maserati has never had a rear ender, I don't reckon.
That's good, because my last one did.
Did it? Oh, right, so 50-50, you're right.
Yeah.
One thing I did spot though, Joel, you've seen it already, haven't you? The paint.
Yes.
It's a bit crazy, isn't it? There's a bit of crazy pavement on the paint. Now, that same forum bloke said that apparently when these were new, they painted with a water-based paint. And if they ever get resprayed with a modern epoxy paint, it goes all crazy like that.
So that explains that.
So that panel might have had a little bit of... But from back here, don't really notice it. And the rest of it, and the rest of it seems all right, doesn't it? It's a lovely looking car.
Yeah.
Front end looks nice.
The business end.
It's a good looking car, isn't it? It really is.
I think so. I never was a fan of the front end of these really, but I have to say, I guess now that it's mine, it tends to be the way it is growing on me.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a 21-year-old car, does it?
It doesn't.
It looks modern.
It does.
It looks good. And all the, apart from that one panel, it's a nice thing. And you said this is an optional extra paint, was it? Or a few grand for the paint job originally?
The colour escapes me, but apparently some Maserati forum guy, we love these people.
We do, yeah, great bloke.
Said that there's only 23 in this colour in the UK.
Wow, there you go.
It does just look black. It is black, but it has a gorgeous sort of golden fleck in the paintwork. It looks like Italian paint. When you walk up to a Ferrari, and you think, God, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, it is a bit like that.
Yeah, nice. Speaking of Ferrari, should we look under the bonnet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll let you do the honours, Joel. The big reveal.
It might not surprise you to hear that I've spent quite a lot of time
under here. Yeah. So you know this area very well.
I do here. Actually. Yeah.
There it is, the heart of the beast.
It is. If you ever think about buying one of these cars and you go to look at one and you see this, I think it's too late.
You're done then, aren't you?
You're buying it.
You're in.
The red cam covers.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous. My crotch Porte had blue cam covers. I'm not sure why that is, but yeah, it's just a thing to behold.
It really is, yeah. Bellissimo, pure Italian class.
Indeed.
So this was one that was designed with Ferrari, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think this is the F138R block,
right,
which I believe is a derivative.
Yeah.
So I was corrected actually about this. It's not the 360, it's the derivative of the 430 engine.
Right, okay.
Which is even better, really.
And I think also the 458, apparently.
Really?
Part of like the blueprint of the block went on to be used in that.
Yeah.
And the California, I read as well.
The key thing, yeah, that's right. The key thing is it's Ferrari built.
Yeah.
4.2 instead of the aforementioned 4.3s.
Yeah.
But with this, obviously, we can talk about it a bit more, but the transmission is shared, for better or worse, from the F1 that you had in the 360.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and this is full Ferrari racing spec, isn't it? So dry sump,
yeah,
cross-plane crank, so it makes a nice noise. Basically a Ferrari GT racing car.
And it comes with all the lovely electrical gremlins that you get.
It does, and the eagle-eye viewers might notice there are a few bits of cowling missing, which weren't there when we turned up today.
This oil on my trousers wasn't here when you turned up this morning.
Because the first issue the car had today was it did make a bit of a horrible power steering noise, didn't it?
Yeah.
And
the power steering reservoir, it slightly didn't have anything in it.
It was devoid of any fluid actually. So it's a 4.2 naturally aspirated V8. The old one was the twin turbo 3.2.
Yes, which actually didn't make that much less power.
No. So this is about 85 horsepower,
I think, yeah.
Officially when it was new. The old one was 365, I think, so 20 less.
It's almost identical to the Ferrari 360 in terms of power.
Yeah.
But it's actually got a bit more torque.
Nice.
So it's not a slow car.
No.
It's not a slow car.
And it looks beautiful. Look at that. Okay, the car's beautiful, but that alone, mamma mia.
It's funny, isn't it? It's like it's got no knickers on.
Yeah,
it's sort of just all out on display, isn't it?
Cover up, my dear. Nice. Right, shall we have a look inside?
Yep.
It's very luxurious, isn't it? Recline.
Well, I suppose this is the gentleman's Ferrari, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice inside.
Have you been in one of these before?
I haven't, no, first time.
Have you driven a Ferrari from this era?
Have I driven a Ferrari from this era? No, I've not.
Okay.
I've not. Have you?
I have, yeah. I've driven 360, comes to mind. This is exactly the same. So this is
the little lever. So this is
the little gearbox.
This is obviously the Cambio Corsa.
Yeah, it reminds you there if
as
you
it
forget.
says there. So 6-speed automated manual.
Yes.
Isn't it? Officially.
And you basically only drive it in manual. It's in manual by default.
Yeah, I didn't realise that. So you have to actually put it in auto mode if you want it to do its own thing.
Press this button at your own peril, because reports say that if you do drive this exclusively in automatic, it will do a clutch in about 10,000 miles.
10,000?
And a clutch is around, you're talking about £4,000 probably at a specialist.
Nice. Yeah, because I read if you drive it well and with some mechanical sympathy, you can get 35, 40,000 out of a clutch.
Yeah.
At best. Well, that's right, because you bought the car with loads of service history, didn't you?
Well, I mean, that is the thing I always say to my viewers. If you're going to buy a cheap Italian supercar, make sure it's got the paperwork to back it up.
And this one?
I've got none.
That is madness, Joel. That is madness. Everything is
a bit sticky.
So sticky, isn't it? Old Italian plastics.
Yeah. It gets a lot worse than that. If you touch the window switches as well, you'll sort of feel.
Oh, nice. Have you felt this though? This is like super glue, isn't it?
Yeah. And look, your fingerprints will register.
Oh, yeah, they are. So my DNA is now on this car forever. Sorry, I might have to give that a wipe.
I'll give it a lick.
Fixed paddles though, proper Italian style. Strange though, they're only I was expecting them to be like full length. They're kind of like half a paddle, aren't they? But I suppose if your hands are there,
it's of the era, isn't it? So the Ferrari 360 had that. Short paddles. The Gallardo at the time had that. Yeah. Bentley Continentals had that. Yeah. It's only when they sort of came out with 430 and then
they had the bigger ones.
The big boys.
Yeah, fair enough. Dash looks nice. 94,499 miles. Full like italic writing, isn't it?
Yes, and the blue dials, I think.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right. And you've got everything you need there. You've got your oil pressure, you've got your water temperature.
Yeah.
Battery voltage.
Yeah.
You don't have power steering fluid everywhere, do you?
No, which would be quite helpful.
Yeah, it would have.
And if you just pop the key in the ignition, we can just have a very brief look at this, okay? Oh dear. Look at that.
Info center.
That just says modern.
That does, yeah.
If anything says modern. And I want to show you something quite funny.
Oh my days, look at this.
So two things actually. Number one.
This is like Windows 95.
I know, that's upselling it really. This is obviously the temperature display, which you control here, but look at the delay. So I'm going to turn it up to about 20.
No
20 degrees! And if we go on to
forever.
here, right, go on to navigation, GPS info. It's the only car I've ever had that measures altitude in yards. We're currently at 120 yards of elevation.
That is amazing. That is so old school, I love it.
Love it.
Right, well, what do you reckon? Take it for a little broom broom?
Sounds good to
Little
me.
rip, sounds good. Oh, that sounds good.
Nice little.
Oh, a little squeak.
That's nice, isn't it?
Was it doing that when you drove in?
It did it a little bit when I drove here a minute ago, yeah. See, it seems to
it
go away
goes.
when it gets a bit warmer.
Does it?
So if you want to,
Italian noises.
yeah,
I'll just put the window up then to do that.
Yeah.
There we are.
yeah. So the other thing I should say is it's on 8-year-old tyres.
Yeah, the
So-
tyres look good, but they're not very
Tread's
good.
good, but they're quite old.
Yeah.
So it's a bit bumpier, and actually Sport makes it a little bit bumpier still.
Will it change? It will change down for you then.
It likes to go back.
How
into
far down does it
first.
go?
Although there it's only done second,
Yeah.
so it doesn't like second, you see. But yeah,
Makes a good noise. Takes a moment, doesn't it?
Yes, it
It does
Yeah,
take
yeah.
a moment.
Sport will speed it up a little bit, but you sort of you have to learn how to.
And is it worse when you're just pooping along? If you're on it a bit more, does it?
Yeah, it's a little bit more responsive. Yeah, certainly if you're flat on the throttle, it will shift a bit faster.
Yeah. The paddles feel lovely though. They feel really
It's
nice.
so intuitive and lovely to use.
Yeah, it is.
Sport mode does speed up the shift slightly.
Should we try it then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sport mode down here. Oh yeah, sport mode on the dash.
Yeah. So it makes
yeah.
it a little bit more
It does.
mechanical,
Yeah. And the throttle response
sharper,
picks up a bit, doesn't it?
and then that Skyhook
Suspension.
suspension gets a little bit harder too,
Yeah.
although it's a fairly negligible difference, I think, in this car.
Yeah, it's quite firm anyway, isn't it? The ride.
Yeah,
I read about Skyhook, and I think it's got loads of sensors that will work out what the wheels are doing in relation to the body,
Yeah.
and try and tweak the dampers to keep the body flat.
yeah,
And they said you can no longer get replacement dampers.
really.
When you could back in the day, they were hideously expensive.
Wow.
So now I think you can either get them rebuilt from like specialists, or people just take them off and fit some kind of coilover.
Right.
If they've had it, if they're weepy. But this feels nice.
Yeah. So if you wanted a downshift, the best thing to do is like either keep your foot on the throttle or pull a paddle and then blip.
So
And
you keep a little bit of throttle on.
Yeah, you could, and then you'll
Oh, it
notice it when
smooths
you
it
go
out.
down to like second, you'll hear it. So if you do it now into second,
Oh
it
yeah,
rev
nice.
matches nicely.
So if you take your foot off, it won't rev match.
No, it'll be really janky.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite funny.
Which is quite nice though, like that you still have to work to get the best out of it.
Exactly. I think
Not
that's the
too
thing.
easy.
I always say cars these days are so good and gearboxes these days are so smooth.
Yeah.
I like the fact that this behaves differently based on how you drive it. It's unpredictable.
And you've got to be kind to it.
And actually, it's one of those cars where the harder you drive it, the happier it becomes.
Yeah. It's got a lot of throttle response. It's nice.
Yeah, it's really, and it picks up pretty nicely. You'll have to give it some in a minute.
Bit warm in here, Joel. Aircon.
Yeah, it's not at its best, let's say.
It blows something at you, just not particularly cold air.
Just hot air, yeah.
It feels nice to drive.
I mean, when you consider,
$4,000.
yeah, that's it.
$4,000 is mad.
That's what it's all
Driving
about.
around a Maserati, and if I saw this come past, I'd be like, bad man.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Well, we did off camera have a little incident in the car park just then where
We did, yeah. Some guys.
people really wanted to compliment the car.
They did.
So it does, yeah.
It looks like such an expensive car, and you know what? It feels like it when you drive it as well.
Yeah, and the paddles and that engine just make it feel a little bit more special.
They do, yeah. How's it compare to your Quattroporte to drive?
It's way more engaging.
Yeah.
The Quattroporte was a genuinely comfortable car.
Yeah.
Like it was a genuinely comfortable sort of saloon. It had fantastic steering and handling, and it was quick, but this is just another level of mechanical, fun.
So if we're in a little town, if you want to take it out of manual mode,
Yeah, so you
put
can
it in auto.
You can hit auto, and then that's it now.
It'll do it for you.
So I think it will just do it for you. I guess in sport,
maybe we'll take it out of sport.
Take it out of sport, see what it does. But it's quite funny when it does eventually shift. It's really delayed.
Is it?
Very slow.
It's on an Italian lunch break.
Basically, yeah, they sort of go for a quick coffee, then they find the gear.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it does take a while.
Oh, do you know what? I didn't feel that though.
I watched it. I saw it move from 3 to 4, and then eventually I felt it.
It's fairly comfortable. It's got cruise control. Stereo's not bad. Like some of the older Ferraris, they were woeful in those, but it's actually not bad in this.
Yeah, it's got a lot of kit, isn't it? Back in the day, it had some nice kit.
Absolutely.
Now it's got Windows 95 kit. Look at that.
And today we've currently averaged, actually that's yesterday as well, 15.5 miles per gallon.
Nice. What's been your kind of average while you've been driving it around?
About that. I'd say the average MPG generally is about 14 miles per gallon. But that's mainly shorter journeys.
Yeah. Which from a 4.2 litre V8, you know, what do you expect really?
Yeah, it could be worse. And you know, I would strongly recommend anyone who's even teasing with the idea of having one of these, it shouldn't be your only car.
No, don't rely on it.
It's a third car for me. I think that's quite a nice place to be with it. What's good about these as well is the thing is if you want to buy like a BMW or something with the equivalent price, that's not going to come unless it's an M car, which it won't be at this price. It won't have a limited slip diff.
No.
This does. So if you want to hit MSP, you know, say on a private road and have a little bit of fun, you absolutely can. If you downshift now with your foot on, it will just... Beautiful.
That's so nice. It's got a really like metallic noise to it, hasn't it?
Yes.
Really nice.
And the thing is, it revs to about 7,500.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good for an old-fashioned, older V8.
Yeah.
I guess being like Ferrari derived.
Yeah.
It's got a bit more of a racy pedigree, isn't it?
Try second.
Oh, I should have lifted, shouldn't I?
Yeah, but if you went, it's a little bit faster when you're on flat chat.
Yeah, it is quicker.
It's livable.
Yeah.
I just like that you've got to, learn it.
Yeah.
I think it adds some character to it.
That is really nice. What a nice noise.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of character, doesn't it?
It sounds amazing. It's quite muted in here, but out the back it sounds insane.
Let's do it in sport, shall we?
Oh yeah. So sport,
it'll feel a bit more lively. Do you
so
reckon?
if you're able to go up all the way to the top a second, and then it's quite,
and then a little lift at the top.
No, full. Keep
your
hard.
foot down.
Yeah,
as you change gear.
It's quite quick.
Oh yeah, much better. So to drive it smoothly, you got to drive the nuts off it.
Yes. Yeah, which is great. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, it is.
I love it. It's brilliant.
Oh, it's a cool car, Joel.
Yeah.
$4,000.
I know.
That's mad. So earlier we did mention that a $4,000 Italian supercar is likely to come with a few pitfalls. And how's this one been then? So you went to see it knowing there was an issue.
Yes.
And that issue was quite a big one.
I was told it wasn't building correct oil pressure.
Yeah.
So it sounds like an oil pump problem, maybe a sensor.
Yeah.
But it did turn out to be the oil pump.
Right.
And that's a particularly difficult thing to get to, and also the part is about £2,500.
Just for the pump alone?
Just for the pump.
Oh my God.
So I was able to save some money by buying a used pump, which is, arguably a bit stupid, but it paid off. But still,
where'd you get it from, the used one?
eBay.
Good old eBay.
Came from Italy.
Assured fit, happy days.
Exactly.
Was it reconditioned or was it just a second-hand one?
Just a second-hand one. But long story short, it cost me £4,000 to buy the car, and I've since spent £4,000 on it.
On the oil pump?
On the oil pump and a few other bits and bobs it had whilst it was there. So, about £8,000 we're in right now, which is really sort of where you could buy one of these cars for that didn't need any work. Yeah.
And then, so you fixed the oil pump, eventually got it back, and then was it happy motoring after that?
No. 50 miles later, I was driving my wife home from the train station. First time I'd taken her out in it, actually. And going around a corner fairly spiritedly, let's say. Power steering went, alternator went.
Oh, no.
luckily was able to limp it home, but it turned out that one of the pulleys was worn and had completely spun the belt. So had to teach myself some mechanics, managed to change that myself.
How was it?
It's, you know, it was okay. And it's been about 400 miles of happy motoring since then.
Nice.
And as we found out this morning, it seems to be, the belt's having a little bit of a hissy fit again.
Yeah,
so,
and it does consume a bit of power steering fluid, doesn't it?
yes. So it's just...
The quirks of living with an Italian car, I guess.
But it's worth it. For the 400 miles I've done also with a smile on my face, it's absolutely worth it.
You think it is, yeah?
I think so. And
You're happy?
the engine's strong in this, you know, worst case scenario, you wanted to get out of it with parts, I'd recoup a good amount of that money back.
Yeah, that's decent. That's good. And are there any other big issues that are likely to crop up? These are chain driven, aren't they? So they're not got a cam belt.
Chain driven. I think one of the issues you've got these days is part supply, like you just mentioned with the Skyhook suspension.
Yeah.
There are control arms, I believe, at the rear of the car.
Yeah.
That you can no longer buy, and I think you can only buy them reconditioned. They're about £2,000 a piece.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's something. I don't know if it's been done on this car.
Okay.
But there's a fair few things like that put people off.
Yeah.
Obviously, good old Ferrari ECUs, they can always throw up some sort of...
I read about the Skyhook ECU. The ECU that controls that is about 1,800 quid.
Yes.
If you can still get one, which I don't think you can. Can't get the dampers. And then I saw original front brake discs or OEM spec front brake discs can be about 1,200-1,500 quid for a pair.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it can
Euro
get...
car park special there, I reckon.
Yeah, and we've got good old Euro spares for the Italian stuff. So yeah, you know, you've got to go into this eyes wide open.
Yeah.
I think you've got to know a little bit about spannering, which I don't, to be honest, but I've learned through having this car. And you just got to enjoy it while it's working, really.
Yeah, and when it is working, it's a lovely thing, Joel. It really is. Yeah, it's so nice. Lovely.
It's just, you can't really complain when you look at what they're worth.
No.
And you know, the thing is, if you're into taking car, you know, if you're an enthusiast, you want to take your car out to car meets and stuff. People do ask lots of questions and are intrigued by these because you don't really see them.
No, you don't do actually. And when I had a look for other ones that are for sale, there's very, very few around.
Yeah.
So you did well to even find one.
Yeah.
It must be the cheapest one that's ever been bought or sold, or
it's probably
one of
not
the cheapest.
Probably not far off.
No.
Thing is, there's not many people that have got the balls to buy one, and then the people that do haven't got the balls to drive it.
Yeah, yeah. Fair play, Joel. Braver man than me. Would I buy a £4,000 one? Probably not. I'm not as brave as Joel. But that's why people watch you doing this and not me. So if people want to see more of you, where can they go to find out a bit more?
I'm over on It's Joel on YouTube, It's Joel Instagram, It's Joel TikTok.
Nice.
All the same, nice and easy.
Check that out.
I'm a glutton for punishment. So it's not the only car like this that I have.
There will be more. Great. And we'll see you next time.